and I'm thankful for Saul because he's done a lot of shit that more shit that I had to do at one point, and even more. And I'm so glad I don't have to do that shit no more. and Saul is just a great talent, and somebody gonna hire this man real soon. And Saul, man, tell us about how you got involved with us, and what you're doing, and people who may watch this may not be up on what else you're doing, but make sure people know about that as well.
Yeah, well, just to kind of introduce myself, Saul Rodriguez, and I've always been obsessed with sports.
Not rolling the tongue though, Rodriguez.
Yeah, see?
You got that whole R roll tongue there. The rojo.
I can switch to Spanish if you. Nah, that's good. Nah, but I've always been obsessed with sports, and I think I've always been able to talk about sports, but I think this kind of has allowed me to do other things I didn't know I could do producing, and I didn't think I had it in me basically until I started doing it. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of like how Ken keeps saying with the reps, this is what I'm getting now, and I've learned a lot since I've been here. And but yeah, anyways, just to kind of go back, I was working with 103.1 WPNA FM, doing sports recaps with them, and then I was able to get the credentials for the Bears games, and then that's when I met Kyle. We actually sat next to each other, and then I was like, "Hey, Kyle."
We was down on the end. We was on the far end of the Bears media press box with the people who was on the edge of being. Now we were the people who they were signing on week to week.
Exactly.
You had the one end where the people who they was gonna let in every week, and then we was on the end where it was like, oh, okay, we'll see about that.
It was a week by week thing. So even with the Chicago Fire, I was at that point like that. And but when I sat next to Kyle and I actually were talking a little bit, and I was like, hey, this is my first game, and Kyle was like, me too, and I was like, oh, okay, well there you go. We started kind of getting along, and we kept in touch, throughout me working at 103.1, and then in 2022, in May, when I think it was in April when you told me you wanted to do a podcast, and it was the baseball podcast, and we started talking about that, and then I was actually laid off from that radio station in May. So kind of it's funny how it worked.
Timing.
Timing.
Swear.
Yeah. So
swear.
Yeah. So ever since then, I've hopped on and done a bunch of stuff from writing to producing to social media stuff. But I mean, all of you guys, I've learned stuff from all of you guys, and it's been almost like a mentorship. Because me personally, I don't think I've had a lot of mentors really, legitimate ones that have taught me a lot where I can carry it. And you guys have taught me a lot, even if you guys didn't even know you were. So definitely appreciate it. I mean, I could tell you guys tenfold to what you guys are saying. I mean, that's what you guys are doing from Josh to Tony, Ken, all you guys. It's awesome. So I respect it, and I definitely want to get to you guys' level because I know I got a lot of work to do. But I know I'm getting there slowly but surely.
You will, man.
You definitely will, man.
You good. You real good already, man. And the amount of things you can do, and the way you doing, man. You're very personable, and I just enjoy working with you, man. Because like I said, I've worked with people who gotten on my nerves, but you never really got on my nerves. So I appreciate you, and yeah, man. We're glad to have you, man. And if we go another 10 years, it's gonna have a lot to do because of your work. So I appreciate you and thank you.
No, yeah, appreciate you and just give me the opportunity. And I know, I think talking to everybody and I feel like there's plenty of chances. If I'm bothering somewhere, I'm telling someone, asking someone this, or there's plenty of opportunities to be buzz off. But you guys didn't do that, so you guys helped me learn and stuff like that. And being so kind, I think goes a long way. So I appreciate that.
I can tell you buzz off. That's some fucked up shit.
I mean, you'd be surprised. Some people, so.
A lot of people have that in them and they don't deserve it. They have that arrogance, man.
Yeah.
For all the people pulling up the ladder, just don't. You got to be there.
Yeah, but I think what's really special about this group too, outside of just the fact that naturally and organically we mesh so well, it's the way we push each other. It's the way we challenge each other. It's the way that even though you're not necessarily on TV or doing things consistently like that professionally, you're gonna get there. So we gotta make sure you get there. And having that edge and that determination was one of the biggest things that, really helped me out a lot. Even when the pandemic, there was a time when WARR Media really was a question mark. What are we doing?
I ain't want to do the shit. No.
Yeah, and I was like, well, guess what? Pandemic, it's a lot going on, but it's the pandemic, ain't nothing going on. We gonna push this thing. We're gonna get this thing moving.
And
that's
you talk about the pandemic. I want to shout out someone, Drew Stevens.
Drew.
My
Drew.
homeboy.
Look what Drew did.
My homeboy going back to the SIU, man. He played a big role during the pandemic because I saw him. Like we stayed friends on Facebook for a minute, and we never got together during that point. Davis is going back to school, and like there was around the time that the Last Dance was on.
Yeah.
And he wrote this big ass note on Facebook, like a review of one of the episodes, and I'm like, this brother wants to write. So I reached out to him, and I was like, man, Drew, man, you want to do something? And you know, I kind of had to talk him into a little bit, and he started. You know, he was with it, and, you know, then I was like, Drew, you know, you need to get on Twitter, and he got on Twitter, and he took over, he took shit over.
Look at the bigs, him and Josh with the
man.
bigs.
He just did a spot on CHGO.
Yep. Sure did.
You know, that's my man. He
giving wings.
flops. No, I mean, Drew is mad talented. Like,
Y'all
definitely. Going
I didn't know that y'all went back. He went to SIU.
Yeah, we worked at the Daily Egyptian. He was there before me.
Really?
And I got on
The Daily Egyptian?
Yeah.
That was our newspaper.
Whoa,
It's
okay.
all about like
Little Egypt.
Little Egypt. Like it's a town called. Me and my uncle's from there. It's Cairo, but it's Cairo. It's Illinois.
okay.
Like the dog is a Saluki. That's an Egyptian dog. It's all of the.
Yeah.
Because if you
That's
really
why.
think about the.
Josh was in like, what is a Saluki? Like, I never knew that.
Egyptian breed of dog.
All right?
Okay, there you go. That's now
And
everything makes sense.
You will
Now
see
everything
it
makes
connects to Egypt.
And what really, it's like it's the confluence of the rivers down there. It's like
the Nile.
It's like the Nile, Egypt, and so
Because we was here already. Y'all think I'm playing, but I'm serious.
It wouldn't be
We had to
war if
fight.
we weren't explaining something to Tony. Even as big as you get, you can still explain.
But anyway, we battled Yaku down there in Little Egypt, and but Drew was mad talented, and he got featured in Slam magazine when we was down when we was in when we was in school, and he went on and like so this media industry is such a trip. Like the way there was no reason he shouldn't have been picked out 10 years ago and already been doing this thing. But I was so glad just to get him back going in that mindset. And,
That's dope.
You know, like I said, I try not to take credit for people, but you got to put people in positions to succeed.
And
Facts.
There's nothing wrong with
Facts.
being honest. Like for me to say like going to the Illinois Media School or ICB, but I mean I'll just call it what it's called now. We ain't got to do all that shit. But Demonze going like, man, I wouldn't have been in that bad boy.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, no, I was gonna go anyway. He ain't do nothing. No, it's fine. You should say if someone helped you and that benefited you. I'm sure Drew would say that's a blessing. That's a blessing.
Drew
Someone was put in your life. I think that's one thing you got to think too. Like I think, and I always appreciate the higher power. I appreciate having you all in my life because I don't think things just happen randomly.
Right.
And I think that's one of the key things that to have me to work at Cision and become friends with Demonze and for our friendship to grow to the amount places that it has grown to this day, and how that enveloped all of you two into that or whatever, and the fortune that I feel from it. But no, anybody. I think that's also, I guess it depends. And this is one thing. This is not anything to do with this discussion. Someone's trying to big brother you. You may not feel like that, but that's not something. We don't do that. You know what I'm saying? This is a family, and it's like, no, that's what you need. You need someone to put a battery in your back. Because sometimes your battery's gonna be depleted, and that's what to have somebody be like, ooh, and you be like, yo, because there were times where I was ready to check out. Look, when D left, I said I put another year on it. I said we gonna revisit this in a year, and if the year isn't going the way that I think it should go, then maybe I have to see. Shout out to Sean Sierra for having me on Sean and Meyer like right after D left. That kind of kept me going, and then Tony had mentioned that something may pop off, so I was sitting on the NBC stuff for a minute. Right, because Tony was like, "Yo, I think," and I remember months, and it was people doing me dirty, but nothing to do with anybody here. But I just set up and shut up and set up, knowing okay, because usually if T say something, whatever, and then I was fortunate enough, Michael Allardyce, shout out to Dice, for giving me the opportunity to get on at NBC with the Under Center podcast, and we at this point, when we had a conversation, I didn't even know it was gonna be on television. I mean that because my bread ain't right. but no, I mean, look, I don't, wherever, let me put it like this, while I'm making it being evil, I shouldn't do it like that. Anytime you see any of us, it's a representation of the rest of us.
That's facts.
Yes.
So
Facts.
never see me and think, oh, Ken did this. That's all of us doing that. I don't get there without. The same with Tony, the same with Josh, Saul, Jason, whatever and whenever you decide on what path you decide you want to go to. If it's legal, if it's back in radio, and Demonze, when you're on vacation, that's us too. Because you're enjoying your life and you deserve to enjoy your life. You know what I'm saying? But that's a representation of all of us because it takes a village. For anybody that can do it on their own, fantastic. That's great for you. I'm happy you can't do that. You're a monster. I couldn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, that's it. I'm a representation. So if you see me somewhere, know that it's all of this and more people that aren't even in this room, and people, unfortunately, we haven't mentioned. Please blame my heart, blame my head and not my heart. But yeah, it took a lot to in a market like Chicago.
Yeah.
Like this ain't a small market.
Yeah.
You know, a market like Chicago, competitive, but also it's the stick-to-itiveness. Yeah. You know, if you really stick to it, use a chance. You got a chance.
You got a chance.
Right? Like that's if you really
that's more than half the battle.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, you know, you may not get the audience that, you know, you think you need to have in order to get noticed, but when people's like, okay, they've been at this for a while. Like they've been pulling up to these events for a while. Like if you keep seeing the same brand and you keep seeing the same people just sticking around, people will notice, and important people will notice. And I think that's like a big thing too, is like no matter what was going on at the school, no matter the different type of shows that was on for 1-2 months, then they drop off because they get bored or they don't feel like they're getting the instant gratification. Y'all stuck with it, and then it blossomed into, you know, all of us here and more, right? That's gonna take the brand of We Are Rigor Radio and the Dean Davis Show with them. Like when Mel make it, and Mel is going to.
He's going to make it. Yeah.
Mel is going to make it.
I'm thinking I need my cameo.
Right.
I already told him I need my cameo.
And if you're Melvin,
I'll be like Stephen A. Smith on Creed. I don't care. Put me up there, man. We gonna make this happen. We making it happen.
Melvin Taylor III. If you haven't seen any of his projects or commercials, he's going to make it. Oh yeah, Melvin.
Yeah.
Third. Oh yeah, second.
It's second.
Damn, his son gonna make it too.
But like he's gonna bring the name of the Dean Davis Show and We Are Rigor Radio with him. Right. The same with me. The same with Josh. The same with Saul and Kyle and Ken and D whenever he wants to come back. Like it's going to follow us, and it's something that I always mention to people, that I was blessed to have people to feed into me as I grew into this business. And I'm never going to tell my story without starting with WARR and the Dean Davis Show.
Yeah.
And you know, I think I'm gonna transition that. I think I'm gonna transition that into my personal news, because
Let's go.
it fits into that narrative and that belief. And the fact that when you feed into others and they feed back into you, like, you know, Tony got me on to NBC Sports Chicago a couple years ago, and that was just months after I really was deciding, like, I'm done with WARR. We Are Rigor Radio. I'm done with WARR. I'm done with media, pretty much. And you know, I decided against that just barely. A couple months later, I got those Bears credentials for the first time. Shout out to NABJ, Chicago. Shout out to Brandon Pope.
I was just saying, shout out to Pope
for that and helping with that. And I got that, and that kept me going. But I was still broke. I was still not doing anything, and I needed the job. And you know, T was already at NBC. He was doing his thing. He got Michael Allardyce to look at me, and I talked to Mike a couple times, and he brought me in. And it was part time. I I wasn't doing much. I wasn't on TV yet. I went on TV at all. There was a couple times. To their credit, they gave me a couple opportunities to do the rush, but I always felt like shit when they would ask me.
You physically felt like shit?
No, well,
What?
sort of, but
Okay.
more like I looked like shit.
Oh,
So I was like, I couldn't go.
The rush was fun. I did the rush a couple
But,
times. It was fun.
You know, I would have liked to have done more at NBC. Eventually, I got let go in January, along with a lot of more essential people than I and great people. But you know, that happened, and it was another bump in life that if nothing else, for my story, I want people to realize, like what you said, you got to stick to it. You got to keep belief in yourself and in the people around you. And you know, I was determined for that not to be the end, and that can't be the last chapter. And I just was like, man, I got to find something else. I'm about to be 40 years old, and I could barely believe that. But I needed to do something this year and have myself resituated in a way that where I could see a path for myself going forward. So I just kept at it. I kept with jobs, and I kept networking and doing things, and eventually a news station called WFAA in Dallas reached out to me. This was due off some other jobs that I reached out for through the company that they're under. They was related to them and other stations, and those fell through. But this station looked at me, and they saw some potential. And I talked to them, and I got Ken to talk to them for
Yeah,
me.
I lied for you.
I did Ken to,
Gang. You said it earlier.
Ken to throw some lies, and a couple other people from my past to help me out with that. And eventually, the last week of July, they offered me a job. And so this is Dallas. This is a relocation for me.
Going to the Lone Star State, cuzzo.
I will be starting that position in a week or so. And
Man.
I'm going to be moving from Chicago. And
That sucks, though.
yeah, it's
In a way, it's great you're going on an adventure.
yeah.
It is.
And
I'm going to miss my cousin, man. I'm going to miss my cousin.
We'll still see, but
It's
you're
the
going on a new adventure, man.
like, and that's what I'm saying too about being 40. Like, this the type of thing when I was 23, I'd have been like gung ho, like it'd have been nothing like for me to move around. And I thought that my life in between that time and now would have been nothing but a gang of adventures and a gang of moving around and being in the adventurous journalists of the world and stuff. But it wasn't. I had to
Grind.
Man.
I had to
Yeah.
come back home.
Get it in the dirt.
Yeah.
That's literally getting into the dirt.
Yeah.
I had to come back home. I had to restart. I had to stay on couches and basements and rely on family and friends. And, in the meantime, I built up more family. And
Yeah.
I built up.
Like I said, I'll take it for granted, man. Dude,
Yeah.
you say you turning 40. I turned 45 Monday. I'm the elder in this bitch. And I'm thinking about everything and then I forget, we've done a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is the thing with us too, which is it's the curse, and it's the what word am I looking for? It's the gift and the curse.
Yeah.
Because man, we grinding so hard, man. Be like, yeah, I did that. What's next?
Mm-hmm.
And but that's the great part because it's like, man, I don't know. We're not at the beginning, but in a way, I don't feel like I'm in the middle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't feel like I'm in the middle.
Mm.
I feel like there's some levels, and it's just like
It's a long way to
now
go.
it's like I'm kind of like I'm old young Tony. So Tony and I used to have these conversations when he was working at the school, and I was working at Cision, and he would come over and have lunch with me, and we'd just be hackling in the calf. And Tony, back then, because Tony doing everything young, Tony had to have a new promotion every 6 months. So if Tony did get a promotion, I don't know, I'm not doing nothing. I'm like, Tony, you're already the youngest person that did this, that.
You probably the
this.
youngest EP ever, weren't you?
He's up there.
Gotta be.
Right. Yeah, maybe like Kevin Z-Pack might have been the youngest.
Okay.
I was like maybe the second.
Second youngest? Yeah.
So and I said to him, like, dude, every time sometimes you just gotta take a second. And I have to tell myself that because I'm like, dude, I'm looking at myself. Like yesterday, it's funny, Ryan and I were supposed to record. And I was telling him, I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah. I was like, I don't know, Ryan. I'm kind of having the birthday blues. And he was like, man, yeah, he was feeling the same way recently or whatever. And I was feeling down yesterday. Like, I was feeling down, y'all. It was wild how bad I felt yesterday for a period of time. And usually I don't let depression, like, I really have triggers to stop depression built up from years of like, no, we're not doing that, right? So the triggers, after about 4 hours, the triggers start kicking up, and I started feeling happier and was like, okay, I know I'm bugging or whatever, but it was like, dude, what are you gonna do? What's next? And I'm like, man, I ain't really did shit. But this is how, like, this is me. This is how me and my brain, how I operate. Where I never look at something like, yo, we did that. It's cool, but it's like, yo, what's next? Like, so it's, again, like I said, it's a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
But I had to tell myself to snap out of it, you know what I'm saying? And, appreciate, the blessings of my family and this family that have pushed me, propelled me to have a good life.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, just to piggyback on what Ken and Kyle was mentioning, like, people don't define their lives by like what set them back. It's like how they pursue forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for Kyle, for you, your story is not one of setback. It's the parts that pushed you to keep going. I think is what defined you as a creative, as a writer, as a person. And I think it also defines WARR, and I think it also defines the Dean Davis Show, and I think it also defines our friend group, that we all have those testimonies of when we felt like stagnant or this is not going the way I thought it was going to go. But we had each other to lean on during those times of creative stagnation, professional stagnation. To tell each other to keep going and keep pursuing what our dream was and what we love to do, despite all the setbacks, despite all the people that said we weren't going to, do something. That is what defines this group, and that is what defines you, Kyle.
Yeah, exactly. And also too, through all the stuff you say you've been through, and you thought that you was gonna be here and there. One thing I don't want you to forget about is all the fun we had.
Yeah.
We had so much fun. So many stories can be told. I remember, this is a crazy one. This is me and Chanel's like 1 year anniversary, maybe 1 year anniversary. And you know how you keep the cake in the freezer and you pull it out, you have a slice after your 1 year. Ringing the doorbell. Oh, who was that? It's Kyle. And I'm like, what's up, cuz? He's like, hey man, I'm just trying to see what's going on. I'm like, hey, come on in. So we sitting down, we talking to shit, and then Chanel was like, are we about to have our slice of cake for our 1 year anniversary? I'm like, yeah. Cuzzo, you want a slice? Chanel's like, what the hell? But it's just kind of like, it's like little stories like that. So even though, you know what I'm saying, you had all the ups and downs, everybody had the ups and downs within the friend group, within the family, professionally, whatever like that. I just don't want us also just not forget all the fun times we had, because we have stories, y'all. Yeah. Like the stuff that we just talked about is probably only like 10% of the stories that we can even get into. We've had
the hard belly laugh.
Oh my God! Like I'm like I said, I'm with blood, so it's kind of harder for me to kind of see you move on, because you know what I'm saying, we family, and I was on the phone with you when you got the call, and even though I was in the text chain acting like I didn't know, but I knew. I was like, but yeah.
You actually think people believe that?
I was like,
see,
what?
I didn't fake. I wasn't gonna fake.
That was the worst lie I've ever seen.
Because I was actually like, I was waiting like. I was fed up. I was like, either I told Tony, I was like, either this motherfucker has plenty of job, like he has three offers on the table. I'm like, damn, he said shit.
He said nothing.
I didn't think of that because I was radio silent for a couple weeks, so I know you were like, what the fuck is going on?
And I almost blew it on the text chain because I knew. I was like, all right, whatever. But besides all that, man, we've had so much fun. Yeah. Like now, I'm in a position right now. I'm a cheerleader. Although I pulled out retire, whatever like that, obviously I always come on. If y'all, saying y'all bless me. I mean, y'all, allow me to come on the show, whatever like that. I have a lot of fun just being y'all cheerleader and just kind of like bigging up everybody whenever I see somebody out and about that we might know. Like, oh man, you see what Ken doing? You see what Tony doing? Josh is doing his thing. Cal, hey, he about to move down to Texas. I'm like the cheerleader in the background because I will say this much. Everybody in this room allowed me to live out my dream. And my dream was to get a radio show, get on the radio itself, obviously, and do TV. That was my dream. Even though I didn't get to the point where it's kind of like, oh man, I'm here and I'm doing this. I'll be able to pull back from my family. So I did it for that reason, and I have no regrets about that. But at the same time, though, you all allow me to live my dream. Like, I can go into the ground peacefully because I was able to do what I said I wanted to do. At the same time, I was able to find friends for life. And also got to do it with my blood at the same time. Yeah. So I'm like over the moon, ecstatic that you have been able, you've got this blessing right here. You able to get down to Texas. I don't know about you moving to Texas. I'm working. I am kind of worried about that as a family member. I told my grandmama, your great auntie, he's like, he moving where? I'm like, he moving to Texas, grandma.
Great.
Just remember.
AT Joanne, she swore nobody told her too.
Yeah, I know, man. And my grandma was like, nobody told me nothing. I'm like, I told you Kyle was moving to Texas. She's like, you ain't told me nothing. I'm like, yeah, I did, grandma. So they're happy for you. Everybody happy for you, man. Everybody in the family's happy for you. And now I get to cheer you all the way down to Texas. Now I got a reason to come back down to Texas. I got a reason to come to Dallas. Never been to Dallas, so I ain't got a reason now.
That's gonna be my first time down there.
So that's we could do a big brother road trip right here. I don't care. We can all get down there. But I'm just very happy, man, that I could be all y'all cheerleaders. You know what I'm saying? I'm rooting from the stand, man, right there front row. And I love it, and I love you, Cuzzo. Love all y'all in here. I love you, Cuzzo. And simple fact that you doing this, man, I'm over the moon for you, brother.
Thank you, D. And it's the way that you express that, really, for people who don't know D, that's the essence of who you are, man. You a positive dude. You are so, like, it's such a pleasure to have you as a blessing. A blessing, yes. A blessing, a pleasure, everything, man. To have you as family, to have you as a person who has my back.
Oh, yeah. No doubt, man.
Man, like I said, so much of this last 10 years has been a testament to the spirit that you are and the way that you fed into all of us. And
that's why you can cheer too, because you know a part of you is in all of us.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it, man.
And that's why there is no bitterness about you stepping out. We could joke and stuff, but
but it continue to joke.
Yeah, we knew that
Tony's actually really mad at me. Tony's for real. I know the hater Tony.
But we know
my nigga brother wasn't even in the dirt.
We knew that you weren't doing it just for any reason. We knew that you were satisfied.
Man.
You were doing it in large part because you wanted to be there more for your family and everything, and for your daughter and for your wife. And I just want to speak to the example that you set and that Ken has set as men, as our eldest men in this group.
Yeah.
The examples y'all set as family men and people who have maintained, like, y'all have sacrificed a lot throughout the years in regards to time with your families and everything. And if it wasn't for that, so much of that, the work that y'all put in, like I said, we wouldn't be here as well. And
I remember when Ken told everybody on the show that Afton was breaking with Kelsey, and I was like, I looked at him. Like, hey man, you serious, man?
Yeah, I remember.
Like, you serious about this? Do you see what we're trying to do here? You having another baby?
Okay. So the best part about that, like, there are things with Demonze and I where we have conversations within conversations without saying certain things. And we were in the
school studio,
and Courtney, Ty, and I forgot who
Gill.
else was there. Jill was there.
Yeah.
And Courtney was having a baby.
She was pregnant.
Her first child.
Yeah.
Her son.
Courtney Seuss, Miss Seuss.
And so we didn't know she'd been pregnant for like 5-6 months, and I hadn't said anything about Afton, back then. and fucked around, and I said it because it was coming out.
Live on the show.
Everyone leaves the studio, and Demonze is sitting like at Sydney's, where Sydney was sitting on the computer. And he looked at me, and I was like, yeah, you know, she did that. And he looked at me, and we had a conversation, but we did not. And that was the only time we spoke in that conversation.
Oh man, yeah.
That one. I mean, well, again, okay. Case in point, good thing you brought that up. First of all, and I always say this. Shout out to Chanel and Grace for allowing me to borrow their husband/dad for the
Shout out
years
to
that I have.
Afton, Ken, Lil Ken, and Kelsey too.
Yes, and I was gonna say shout out to my family for always being gracious, and it could have always turned into something that was an issue, and it didn't. And it allows me now where, compared to scheduling, like now I just have to make sure one of us can pick up the kids, and luckily Afton now works on the south side, so if we have to switch, it's a lot easier. But that goes to show too, if you put in enough time, you are allowed it. You will get to the point where maybe you don't have to sacrifice as much as we used to sacrifice. Because time, you got to think we would be recording 2 or 3 shows a week. We would be at the score doing the flip. Don't let us have some interviews.
Interviews. Oh my God.
And we're not getting home till 9 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? That's after work. So it's not like we went home, saw our family, whatever. Like sometimes we didn't see your kid before your kid went to sleep.
And throw in internships, doing all that at the same time too. So full-time jobs, families, internships, and then our show and all that. Oh my God.
And so shout out to the family.
Shout out to the families, man.
For pushing us. But again, shout out to the friends. But again, it's great. I'm proud of you. I want you to attack this like you've never attacked anything.
Absolutely.
Come home on your shield. Or don't bring your ass back.
Where's Kyle at? I don't know. I think he's living in Texas now.
If I fail again, I might just walk the earth like Kung Fu.
You may as well just become like a merchant marine. Just go to the water, sail.
I would be like Superman and the Man of Steel,
just
walking on the
oil rig.
We won't speak any failure.
No.
We won't speak any failure.
I'm just joking, man. But that's the thing too. Like having dealt with failure and dealt with tough times before, like it's I don't care about, I don't worry about those things as much anymore, because I know not only I have y'all behind me, have my back, and as well as my other family and friends, but it's just you learn perspective. Like when you get to my age,
I want you to worry a little bit.
You learn.
Okay, I'll tell you this way, because this is something I think we both have in common to a degree. One, and I said this to the young to Tina, who's a lady that fine wonderful woman at WFAA. You have to say what a person's weakness is. Yeah. So I said, you know what? He doesn't really like to ask for help. And I said one of the things. One of the problems with me, I don't really like to mess with help. He doesn't like to mess with help. She was fearful of. It's like he only likes to do sports. I said no. He likes other stuff outside of sports more. Than I said, if you're talking to me, I'm more of a sports person. He does community events. He does all this or whatever. This is one thing that I have a problem with, and I still have a problem with it. If I'm in a bad state of mind, and that plane is going down in the tailspin, it's hard for me to pull that bitch out, because a part of me be like, crash it. You don't crash that bitch. Start early, pull that bad boy out, level that hoe back up, and sail higher. I'm just saying, I want you to keep that in your mind, because there's gonna be some days, but don't let those days start counting up. You know what I'm saying? Break it out and level that plane back out and just keep sailing, Kyle.
You're right, Kenan, and I'm like quick. You're right, Kenan, and you were really right, and that's why that's one reason why I appreciate you as a friend, because you get me like as much as anybody, and that's surprising, because I don't have many people who I think really get me, but you do. And I'm glad. I didn't know that y'all talked like that, but I'm glad that you did.
I sold you, bro. I sold you.
But I'm a look.
Gang all day.
That's one of the things that, like I said, I've learned more about myself and being more self-aware, and I'm working. I'm working on it. God's working on me.
Problems.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm not talking
we all do.
This is your issue. No. I'm saying I have to get on myself. Like, dude, pull the plane up, because part of me is like.
You'd rather fail on your own than reach out for help sometimes and succeed, and that's not that's not the most productive way to go about life. Is not the best way. Sometimes you need help, and when you do, you got to have that self-awareness to reach out and let people help you.
Right.
You know,
That's
so-
real.
Go ahead, Jason.
Couple things. That specifically, Ken describing you describing himself could just as easily describe me, which is why I laughed out loud so prominently. But it's one of those things where with you two, you've each reached out to me when I'm in that death spiral, and it's always in my mind, along with other people outside of this room, that I'm going to get to a point where I actually get to do the giving. And jumping in where what D was saying, I felt a real strong bond, kinship to that sense of I got to live out my dreams because I met you guys, and I realized that the destination that I thought had to be like keeping up with the Joneses wasn't the same thing, and then work on myself and burying myself in my problems to figure out a way to actually listen and be brave enough to go pursue things. But I in terms of media, like being on a broadcast, like maybe a guest is great, but like I got to have my show and I got to be on your guys' show, and I got to be one of the last interns at the Score, and I got to have somebody recognize me for my Boers and Bernstein name, and those things are just like, somebody might say that those things are trivial, but like yeah, but like
People wish they could do that.
well, and that's the thing. Like, if I hadn't met you guys at the right time, and if you hadn't been such a go-getter for me to get out of my, like, I don't know if I'm good enough thing, I probably wouldn't have gone for the Score. I would have done something else, and maybe I still would have been a PBS intern, and that would have fulfilled one lifelong dream, you know? I got to do WTTW, and I got to do WSCR when I had the opportunity to, and I wasn't 20. I was 24, 25, 26. I can't even remember. But like, you're talking about being about to be 45, and you're 40, and I'm 35 right now. And I remember being in my late 20s, knowing that you guys were older. You were my co-host, or were leaving to go succeed, and I was, finding different co-hosts and different avenues. And I was thinking, I remember having a conversation with you where you were like, oh, I'm not going to date because I'm just going to focus on my career. And it's funny because, one of the last times we were all together was for your wedding.
Yeah, I know, right?
And now you're expecting, just like they are, so you got to do that balancing career and family thing. But I remember being in my late 20s and being like, I can't do what Tony's doing. Like, I have to do both. I have to succeed in my career, and I have to try to date and, like, chase, down this family. And now I'm 35 and I'm not dating because it's just a distraction. And I feel what you said about being 40 and feeling like, and you being 45, and that this isn't the end, it's closer to the beginning. Like, I don't know if it's just who we are or if it's that wellspring of like fountain of youth that we all have each other. But I feel like, one, I look at people I went to high school with and I'm like, you're old. I'm not old. And I feel like it's like I've done things, I've lived life. What you said about it not feeling like the adventure. Like, I've done things I know where I'm like, I know the toil that went with that or the sacrifice that went with being able to do the crazy adventure. But an outsider feels just sees the adventure. Right. They don't. And so, like, the same thing applies. And it's important to remind yourself of that. But it's also important to remember there's a point, and I think you were getting at this, where you said it as well, where you just get to appreciate it. And you're going off and you're doing your stuff with the station, and after like 18 months of really, really working in therapy, I'm actually gonna pursue like creative writing projects and try to go at
All right.
rather than being on a screen and putting my voice through speakers where you're gonna read me in print, hopefully. And we got Melvin. You said it before. I remember that text chain, and I jumped in too. neither of us are joking about wanting to have cameos when Melvin makes it.
Oh no, I'm gonna be on the screen.
And you know, the other thing too, you talked about sacrifice of family. I know Grace is doing the camp at Purdue, right?
Yeah, coming up.
So she's doing video production. Melvin's gonna make it. She's gonna intern on Melvin's
doing
sets.
my transition from my last transition.
All right. Well, since this is your shindig, let me hand it over because
that's basically what I'm like. We're gonna start to wrap up here because we've been going on. I don't know how long we've been going on, but this has been such again. I thank you guys for taking your time and you know giving me this time with y'all before I do leave for Texas. And you know I just wanted to leave before we go to sort of speak on the things that, as long as we've spoken on our history, we've spoken on where we're at sort of right now. I wanted to speak a little bit about what we're looking forward to, and I want to throw to Tony first with that because we've spoken about you guys being family men. He's becoming a family man now as well.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, we had that wonderful moment in last October.
Mm-hmm.
We celebrated at your wedding, man.
Have a great moment this October.
Let the people in on what that is going to be. What do we basically before we go off? Let's talk about what we're looking forward to, the things in our lives and you know, professionally, personally, whatever that we are looking forward to, and that you know is going to be pleasures for us going forward.
Yeah, you know, when I started out on this journey with you guys, I was just kind of all in because I didn't have, you know, anything else that, you know, I could, you know, lean on to center me. It was this. It was the Dean Davis show. It was working in sports and stuff like that. But, you know, now you guys have seen like the full growth of myself. And I mentioned that. I mentioned that to my wife. I'm like, man, like Lawrence, Campy, Herb, and you guys, and have really seen me for real grow. Like I started this as like a kid, and then now I'm having a kid. You know, in October, and you know, I was talking to my wife through this, and I'm like, this is gonna be the first time in my adult life where I have the opportunity to 100% focus on my family. I've never been able to do that, you know, before, because I was always working. I was always in pursuit of something. You know, and now having that focus and looking ahead, now it's all about just, you know, getting the stuff at work at NBC and at, you know, the Ring and these other gigs like settled. So when I go away, and it's going to be a while, it's, you know, about 4 months, that I can just focus on, you know, my family.
It's equal rights.
Right.
Also good for you for taking that opportunity.
Yeah, and you know, to be able to have you guys at my wedding and you guys see the growth in myself professionally and personally, it was important for you guys to be there, and I'm glad you guys were there. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now for the future is, you know, getting that balance of that work-life balance that I've, you know, never really had up until now. But just continue to be the best creative that I can be. But also I'm looking forward to being the best father and husband that I can be.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of a good segue as well, talking about family, because in addition to putting
baby coming?
no. It still holds. It still holds that I'm doing that thing where I'm not dating and I'm not trying to do all that. But family is playing an important role for anybody who has been around long enough following WARR Radio to be like, whatever happened to him? He fell in a hole. You know, in addition to mentioning all that like quiet, lonely work I've been doing in the last couple of years, the other thing that I've had since the pandemic has been living steps from my nephew, now plural nephews. And for whatever it is, this moment in time where it might not be glamorous or whatever, I'm really loving being able to be there and have that time. Yeah, right now, like, one of them is like 9 months, the other one is 3.5. And I know I'm not always going to be steps away living in the same neighborhood. I might be on the other side of the world. You guys knowing me, I'm literally making certain plans to move to Melbourne, Australia. And if it works out, I would be thrilled as hell. But on more, you know, pedestrian or like you can do it anywhere, whatever else.
Yeah.
like I said, I'm started doing the first baby steps of actually getting a writing practice, and not just doing little articles, not just doing nonfiction, but to do creative nonfiction and even some fiction. It's funny, the smallest steps, right? I think we can all, like, it's so cliche, and you'd be like, oh, that's not how it works, but we all have met each other through walking through the doors of ICB, which was far from glamorous. But Eventbrite, I did a flash fiction thing just on a whim, because, you know, I spent a lot of time at home, and, like, it kind of just threw open a door to be able to be like, I think I can do this. Like, there's been so much time in earlier phases of my life where I put roadblocks that I should be doing something more practical, pragmatic, or something that's more, like, when I was doing spraying wall fields, it was like, I don't have time to do that because I have to see where this goes. And like what I talked about and feeling a lot like Demonze, I saw where it went, and I'm really happy. I got to be tad deflated. And it's just like, hey, like, I have had the surprise of people being like, what was your score name? And be like, I remember that. Mm-hmm. And like, it's just, again, trivial, but like, it's filled me up with the memories, the adventure that gets you through the doldrums, to not give up. And I think, I don't know what it's been through these 10 years or so for me that's kept me from giving up, but I don't feel old and I don't feel worn down. Some days I wonder why it's had to be so much work, but I also know that if I had gotten the success that you got at the age that you had, I would have effed it up royally. And I mean, take that with you to Dallas, you know, like you could have done it at 23 and you might have bounced out and then not had the gumption to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's why I'm taking things.
Everything happens. You're running your own race.
Yes. Yeah, you're not
Facts,
against
bro.
me else.
I do not run my race with anyone else's race. I run my own race. I cannot measure my race with your race.
Yeah.
I have to measure my race with the race. I can increase my pace, and I can refine how well I am as a runner. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I can help myself become better as a runner. But as far as trying to gauge my race to your race is where a lot of people fall into a bad.
Run with your own races.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's not the easiest thing. You know, it's hard. You know, sometimes you're gonna look at other people and be like, "Damn, I should be doing what they doing or whatever." And that, we could look at and within our own camp. I could look at. There's sometimes I've looked at Tony, been like, "Damn, man," but I never felt resentful about that. I've been proud and happy for Tony because he's my man, and you know it just
went for it too.
He went and I know the work that he put into it. That's right. You know, sometimes you look at other people in the industry and be like, man, this motherfucker. But again, you can't get caught up in that either, like you say, Ken. And you know, we run our own races. Things come when they come, and you know, I'm being better at that too, and I'm accepting the blessings as they come, and I'm trying to stay humble and work harder, and just show up for the moments that show up for me.
It's easy to not appreciate your blessings. I was saying this like maybe a month ago. I was seeing some opportunities some other people was getting. I was like, man, I want to do that. And after all stuff, it's like, dog, you know you do this, right? Right, that's the thing too. Like, oh, you trying? And I tell myself, like, you trying to take up everything.
Yeah, like, you be wanting to do, like, you don't even feel like doing that stuff, but you feel envious anyway. And it's like, why do I feel envious? I don't even want to do that. Yeah, it's like,
well, I mean, everybody wants to shine.
Yeah,
everyone wants to shine. Everybody wants to shine. But again, you put in your work. Go ahead, Saul. What do we expect? What are we expecting from you moving forward?
Well, yeah, I mean, I just,
you're going to be working in NBC within the next year.
Fingers crossed.
It was a post he was trying to get. The job got snatched down real quick, but we know that you know.
No, yeah, I'm trying. I graduated from Roosevelt, Laker Nation in May.
Are you, baby?
But it's taken me a while. Like, I think, you know, I didn't mention that. Like, I mean, I know I'm the youngest out here, but like at the same time, like
So how old are you?
I'm gonna be 29.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why
Where are you the youngest one?
Yeah,
Because I just turned 29 in June.
How old is Melvin?
Melvin's
Nah, he's
older.
older.
Turned 30.
So wait,
Oh, okay.
we ain't got no, wait, we gotta get us some new blood. You motherfuckers are aging out.
No, speaking.
Hey, I mentioned it already. We're going second generation with this We Are Rigo shit.
No, yeah. I was gonna say, actually, no. Speaking of that we haven't mentioned. I want to mention. I think Muzz Quadri, who did the soccer, I think he might be like he's old. I think he might be a little younger than this. I could be wrong.
He's young.
But even for sure, I know that Anthony Pisana, who has done some movie reviews, he's like 22.
Okay,
So,
yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
we need that.
Yeah.
Gotta balance it out. The average is getting all fucked up.
Yeah, we got to go stalk out some new blood,
Yeah.
some young blood out here.
Yeah,
Somebody gotta pass it on.
Yeah.
Somebody has to pass it on.
and I've
Our
told,
young guys are becoming OGs.
and I've told Kyle, because like I still do some work for College New Page, and I see a lot of people that like are working in the newspaper and stuff like that. I'm definitely looking out to see what we can.
Yeah.
But
Yes,
no,
sir.
like even for me, like I went to College New Page. It took me like 6 years to get out of there because I didn't really have a lot of discipline. I think it took me a while to get to where
Talk
I'm
that
at.
talk, Saul.
Yeah, and even if like I know I'm young, like even like the people, there's a lot of people my age that are like, I don't know what to do with my life. Like, what is gonna happen? Like, dude, you're young. Like, even I mean, shit for you
Facts.
guys. Like, I don't care what you say. Like, you still got a lot of time, and a lot of people. It's not a race. I think at a certain part of my life, I was like, I gotta get. Man, I'm like 23. I haven't. I'm like, dude, no. Like even now. Like even
Man, you
now,
feel
right?
washed up. I used to say
right?
that.
I know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
listen.
No, you
I'm gonna
good.
tell y'all real quick. These about to be some of the best 5 years. There was that 30 to 35. Oh, that's that's before
yeah,
you
that's
find
where-
that. Then after that is when you finally starting to age out. These y'all still got a sweet spot. Right? Still a sweet spot. Except for Tony.
And,
He's done.
Right, take advantage of it physically, you guys,
Yeah.
the single ones. But when you get past 35,
I say 37 is when you start to
Yeah.
see the end.
Let's let him
Oh,
finish.
no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, we
It's all
did. We
good.
did take over sauce. No, but you were going.
Oh yeah,
saying,
so I was saying like I know it sounds dumb like the 23 like who would think like that, but I've like grew up with some people that actually like have made it big and done certain things, and I'll be like, damn, like that dude's like younger than me. What am I doing or something like that, right? But it's like ridiculous to think about because like you said, gotta go with you.
That's his race.
It's his race, yeah. And I've kind of learned to like stay in my lane and kind of dedicate myself to what I'm doing now and even like I've always thought sports, but even there's other lanes I haven't even like thought about that I like that I think I can get into just because of this, and it's helped me a lot. So I don't know what's in store, but I imagine a lot of big things because I think I'm very confident in what I can do. So
I mean,
yeah.
man, listen. Clearly, you're gonna be running Riggle Radio.
he already
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
But I would say that's the first step for him. He's got, like I said, you got so much potential, and people are gonna see it, and you pretty soon, and you're gonna be doing it. And like when we get to Josh, we can speak to that too. But it's just
It's been a minute since I heard him talk.
We'll end with y'all too. But yeah, let's go to Josh then, because Josh got the future ahead of him too.
Oh man.
Got shit to do now. I told you I had to be at the Rucker.
He do. He do. Who you think giving him a ride over there?
Yeah. But anyways, obviously, man, starting off young with you guys, I like just like Tone. I could say you guys really saw my growth. Me coming in, and Tone is the only one that was like a little bit older than me at the time. And hanging around with a bunch of OGs doing learning from the best.
Backing old women down at concerts.
Boy, hey. Hey, I was
about that.
That was awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, no problem.
Hey, it was some good times. But anyways,
Can you look at young age and old women in the age? All right.
hey, man, we don't discriminate. But no, overall, man, like you said, we talk about the family component. Being able to do stuff like that doesn't happen if we don't work and grind and build together over the times that we had, man. Yeah. And it's truly an honor and a privilege and a blessing to know and grow with each of you guys. I mean, even when we talk about this past year, bringing on newcomers like Saul, just being like, oh, wait, you went to Roosevelt? Oh, that's family, him knowing the same people that I know and the professors that he's had and things of that sort, and even that goes a long way to the WARR Media name, because I know, I'm not speaking for Saul, but I know it probably brought him some type of comfort to be like, okay, I'm not only am I working with Kyle, but Kyle knows Roosevelt because of me.
Yeah, definitely.
That means I know that would mean a lot to someone like that. So All about continuing to carry the name, carrying the legacy, carrying the brand that we all have done and everything that we do. There's no me without, you got any of you guys, especially D and Kyle, because that's how I really, got into the family business. And, Kyle really kind of pushing me and saying, yo, you got these wings. Come on, let's fly. Provided me the opportunities to fly in a lot of various ways to get to this point. To now where we talk about the future side of things. Yeah, as long as this, no matter what I do, as long as this is still around, I'm here. That's a given. I'm never going to dismiss the people that believed in me the most to get to this point. So I'm always going to be here with WARR Media and everything.
You're going to get one of them NBA studio shows.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm looking forward to it when that time does come. But obviously, but where I'm at now, you talk about embracing the journey, enjoying where you at
with
right
the
now.
bigs.
Yeah, doing reporting with the bigs and everything, covering the Bulls.
Shout out to Gene.
Shout out to
and
Gino
Tim.
and T.
Yeah.
Shout out to Gino and T, man, and obviously doing it with Drew makes it that much better. So
Love seeing y'all post games.
yeah, man, appreciate that for real. But it goes to that doesn't happen without Kyle, because the first time I met Gino and T was literally with Kyle at 70 to Score doing our Running with WARR show.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that goes a long way to where they help to go with that progression. So
We
much
really
love
was
to y'all,
running
man.
up through the school. Shout out to Mitch Rose.
Man, shout out to y'all for acting right. they you
wasn't
could have
a
been like,
given.
all right, man, y'all got to get up out of here.
I'll
But
tell you.
they never kicked us out of there at all.
That's real. That's
And
real, man.
like once D got the equipment and everything, he was able to do it like from the crib. But y'all were
They changed everything up is what when then the
construction. Yeah, then the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
But they had no intent on kicking WARR out of that space. So shout out to y'all for being professional during that phase and handling that well.
For sure, no doubt. I'm the single bachelor in the group, but
Me too.
no, yeah, y'all too. Yes, sir. You're right. My bad. I have to get used to that. I gotta get used to that. I forgot. It's been a while. But
Podcast idea, new podcast with 3 singles.
I'm confirmed bachelor, man.
I'm like, damn.
could have a bachelor show or something. I'll be kind of fine. But as long as y'all continue to live, keep doing y'all thing. Obviously, T's over here living life, making babies. So I don't mind being Uncle Jay. Continue to be Uncle Jay around here.
I'm on some real shit. I got grand nephews. That's part of the reason. That's part of the reason I'm going to Texas too. Because I got two grand nephews down there that I'm gonna get to spend time with. I got a niece down there.
How the fuck you got a granddad?
Look,
Line that up for us, bro.
Look, I know. I was an uncle at 12.
Okay.
So and my niece, she's had 2 babies.
So you said, well, hold on, let me get this right. 12 said that you 40. So she 30.
Yeah.
She's 28.
Yeah. She'll be 28.
Yeah, 28.
Okay,
so that ain't bad.
She'll be 28 in September.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, she's not as hot as her mama was.
Damn. The rest of us here are already ready. My sister was hot like fire.
I hope.
Gina, you got anything to say about this? Did you think she was hot too?
I love you, sis. I'm just playing.
That's what we do.
That's the sound. That's where the sound gonna drop out
You
there.
don't let the truth slip out a little bit. Give him a little bit of something. Give him a little bit of something.
Oh, man.
Life ain't all perfect.
Oh, man. Shout out to Shadika. Shout out to Nautica. See, that's
You
how,
said Nautica.
that's how you know my sister was 16. My sister was 16 when she had her.
She had that
She
Nautica
named her
jacket
Nautica.
on.
Yeah.
I'm going to name her Nautica. Name the daughter Alexis. You got anything to add to that? What did you think when she named the Nautica? I can hear you now. Nautica.
Oh man.
We end off from Ken.
I ain't got nothing to say.
Yeah, you do. As far as me with the future, like I said, man, I'm I'm just cheerleading in the stand right now for y'all. Sometimes things do pop up in my head like I could do this, but then it's like I don't feel like doing that. I'm being real. You know what? I've been, spending time with the family, enjoying with the family. Grace is really kind of like taking up all time. She just did a film camp down at Purdue University. Now she's going to a film camp up in Facets up by DePaul, starting Monday. So she's like all into that, trying to get her film back that she made in school. I saw the script, but we got to get the video back. And but yeah, really her like, a couple of days ago, she's like, I'm having writer's block. Like, I need something to write about. You got it? Like, I need a story. I need a movie. I'm like pitching ideas up. So that's what my life. Yeah, that's what my life is at right now. Just kind of like, I've done it. It is always kind of cool. I was telling the story before we started. Like down at ICB on State Street in the studio, they will have like a little ticker to show the name of the shows, whatever like that. And I remember when Ken and our name was on there in the show. And we drove past there recently. I forgot where we were going. And I was like, yeah, Grace, I used to have the show name used to be right there. She's like, right there? She's like, I'm like, yeah, like, Daddy, were you famous? I'm like, hold on that. Like, not really. He's like, well, hold on. Some kid in her class found me on YouTube. And she was like, you was on YouTube? I'm like, are you on YouTube? I'm like, I think so. Like, yeah, my friend said they found you. I'm like, first off,
You're on a lot of stuff on YouTube.
I know I am, and I like TV and stuff like that. So that kind of stuff kind of trips her out now. She's 11 years old, so that kind of trips. That kind of stuff trips her out. So that's kind of cool in a sense. Kind of like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Talking about the stories and how much fun we had. And now I get and Ken does this, I'm sure, right now. Tony, you're gonna do this eventually. Talk about things that you've done in your past. You can talk to about your kids. So that's always kind of cool, and that's what I'm like really looking forward to now in my life. Besides that, building shit,
Building more shelves.
building more shelves.
Terrific bookcase you got.
Thank you. I show y'all. I show y'all before y'all leave.
D
looked at it
could
already.
do a workout show. We could do this
lifting,
old house revival.
DIY.
DIY. I'm about to build a rain gutter system in the backyard.
Shirtless DIY. Start your OnlyFans, D. Start your OnlyFans.
Yeah, just a whole
If one more
mashup.
person tell me start an OnlyFans, I'm not starting an OnlyFans.
The moment didn't pass. Dirty D's DIY.
Dirty D's Home Improvement.
You gotta tell Grace. I was never famous, only infamous.
But no, man. I'm a creative person. I know I am, and some things kind of pop into my head, and I kind of like sit on it for a little bit. So I'm never going to count myself out. I'm never going to say I'm not going to do this again. I think I do have a talent. I could run my mouth a mile a minute. Kind of do that at work. That's kind of got me as far as I got right now. But like I said, man, I'm like y'all biggest cheerleaders right now. I'm enjoying watching y'all do y'all work. Anything pop on social media, if it ain't already there, I'm putting it there. Through the text line, just just encouraging everybody to do their thing. So that's where I'm at right now, man. I'm enjoying my life. Like I said, you all allow me to live my dream. I am content. I remember when I stepped away, we had a big Zoom call, and one thing that really stuck out to me was what Tony said. He's like, man, listen, I'm happy for you because you won't have any regrets. And that's always stuck with me, T. Because I have no regrets through all the ups and downs dealing with, not too many downs with us, but just kind of like doing all this was when starting a family, kind of like exactly where you at, T, when I was at, where I was at. Just getting married, just having a kid. Be frank, I wasn't around when Chanel was pregnant because I was doing all this stuff, so I missed out on her being pregnant. And then just kind of like having Grace just grow up, and I'm going 1,000 miles an hour, burning both ends of the candle. My wife is, kind of like, hey, I'm here, but you're not here, or Grace is here and you're not, that kind of thing kind of hit me, and that's why that's one of the main reasons why I stepped away. And but through all that, all the times in between, man, I had a fucking blast. I enjoyed myself. So I'm just kind of like, I can just kind of sit back and just enjoy all the, enjoy the good memories. As you said, like, no, we're not old, not in the long run. I mean, not in the longest effort, we're not old, but it's kind of cool. Just kind of sit back and watch sports and just be a fan, and not having to like worry about the stats and shit like that. I can just old man shit, sit down here in my basement and cussing at the TV and drink. So I'm enjoying that. I like it. Then
We're gonna do that in a few minutes.
Yeah. Hey, there we go. Yeah, go in the room, work out, come back out, go outside, build some shit. So, I'm enjoying myself, man. I'm really enjoying myself, and especially enjoying seeing my brother over here. I love it when I go on Instagram. It's like fucking J Hood or something like that. Look up, take a picture. Ken's on TV. I'm like, yeah, all right, it's my brother right there, man. Yeah, I'm gonna repost that shit. You know what I'm saying? And it brings a smile to my face, man, every time I fucking see it. So, but yeah, man, I'm enjoying life, and I'm living through y'all. I'm enjoying y'all life, and y'all doing y'all thing, and I'm like I said, I'm y'all biggest cheerleader right now.
And we'll leave it with you, Ken. I'm Mr. Under Center Football Night in Chicago.
I know, right?
I don't know. We should have ended it with me. I have nothing. I'm giving out all the love. I don't want to just keep saying the same thing over and over again. You all know that I care about you, Saul. I'm just meeting you, but I do care about you.
That's right, Saul.
Welcome
to the family, brother.
Thank you.
So that alone has like, I think he's a worker, a good worker, or whatever. So when you reached out to me, it was kind of like, yeah, I think he could do it, but don't fuck my name up. Look. Always, you can check out Tony Does Production. Tony runs all the podcasts on NBC Sports Chicago. You don't know, you can check him at Sports Adjacent, also with the Full Go Show with Jason Golf. You got to do all that stuff out there, Tony. Look, I'm on there 5:30 p.m. every Wednesday, wherever you watch your Bulls, your Blackhawks, your White Sox. They were supposed to take us off, but we've still been on there in the off season. No, I'm blessed.
That sound like D and Davis show. We supposed to been going a long time ago. We still going. You keeping the tradition going.
Flavor.
Yeah.
We gotta bring you on there, actually.
Hey, man, I'm always down.
We gotta figure out a way that we gotta give them the D and Davis show on NBC. Till you mess that up. I'm joking. Whenever, also, I am really joking whenever I say anything like that. I am very happy for my brother. I'm very happy for all of you guys, wherever you're at in your life. When you're feeling down, know there's people that care about you, even because sometimes we have the tendency to lie to ourselves and be like, it's just me, and it's not true. I tell my kids that. Don't do that to yourself. I know that's how you can feel. There are people that care about you, and there are people that need you, so please take care of yourself. I think maybe you'll hear me a little bit more. Just was on the score this week on Bernstein and Golf, and luckily Layla was there too, so I got all three. Bernstein
and Holmes.
Bernstein and Holmes. Sorry, thank you. I apologize. Bernstein, Holmes, and Layla. Our big bro Lawrence mentioned maybe more during the season coming on, so maybe
that's what's up.
That's dope.
You going to the studio?
If they want
Like,
me.
man, I used to do a show here.
I was on Twitch.
Oh, he's on Twitch.
And he set it up so they could see me in the studio doing it.
Oh, good.
Right. He probably had something to do with that anyway. No,
that's what's up. but you can go into the studio like, man, I used to do this here.
Yeah, I mean,
I did a show here too.
Hey,
somebody called in and said we were the Black Panthers.
Hey,
you remember that? Who are these guys?
That damn Black Panthers.
That will always.
Area code 847.
I remember, and it's funny going back to something you said. I remember Jonathan Hood hitting me up and was like, man, y'all broadcasting all over the country, the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know that because you think it's overnight, nobody's listening. And we know how many people was listening.
Oh, yeah.
Also, shout out to the Grobbers, Les Grobsteins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out
to the Grobber, man.
Listeners.
God bless you, brother.
His listeners were
Rest in
so
peace.
kind to us. A majority of the listeners of the score were very kind.
They were.
Like, I'm
They
talking
were.
about.
They were great.
They were, yeah.
They knew we was coming back on and everything.
They
was cool.
Nice to us.
They were.
We appreciate you allowing us to come in and listening to us. That will always be something. Being a scorehead growing up, that will always be something crazy to achieve. To actually have been on the score for a few years, where at one point it looked like there was rumors in the streets we was gonna be the late night. I knew I couldn't get D to do it. But people was worried we was gonna be the late night host. I mean, it was. I'm not talking. It was through the streets. People was like, "Man, so y'all think?" I'm like, "How don't even know you.
Do you remember we went to go meet Mitch and somebody buddy was down there at the front desk? Gabe's brother.
Upstairs. It was upstairs.
Gabe Mendoza. He's like, you all are D and Davis. I said, well, goddamn, I am. Yes, I am, sir. I'm like, Ken, he know us.
Big Courtney. Big Courtney.
So you was famous, D.
Right.
I kind of was, I guess.
Big Courtney.
Don't
Was
tell
the
that to
first
Grace.
Person, Courtney Ford.
Yeah, Courtney.
Titus boy Courtney was the first person to do that. I was walking across the street to the studio. He's like,
Oh, I remember that.
He's like, you killed it. And look now, and I'll say this, that happens a lot now. Where that's
Ken got to wear his glasses outside.
now listen.
Where my hoodie at? He supposed to be
At first,
coming up to
at
me
first-
and talking about the Bears and shit.
Right. That's how I was. For a period of time, I was like that, right?
Yeah, I
But my
know.
mask wouldn't work.
It's all about the eyes, brother.
A dude, no, this is the key. I had my mask on, and a guy walked behind me before he got on the side of me. He was like, Kim Davis? My back not turned when I'm up to them. Like,
I know that shape.
right. That's what Kenton said.
I know your shape. I know what you look like on TV.
Shout out to Josh Strock, Alex Shapiro, Claire Flippily, also Philippi. Claire, you know I love you. Shout out to them for making the Under Center go alongside with Tony. Shout out to all the listeners and the people that watch. We definitely appreciate you taking time out of our day. I'm not one to talk about who has the best show or podcast or anything like that, but numbers don't lie. Because we don't have to do that. Because it's enough space for
Oh, wait a minute. Who helped me real quick because my wife, shout out to Chanel, love you, baby. She was like, "Oh, I'm
Eric
excited."
Strobel.
Eric Strobel.
Shout out to Eric Strobel, who when D told me he was going to get Chanel a jersey of her favorite Chicago Bear player, which is Alex
Brown. Yeah.
I've never asked any athlete to do anything. So I want to let you know how much I care about y'all.
Thank you. I appreciate
Because
it.
people thought that was going to be like the new. I remember when she hung it up, I heard people in your background was like, oh, kid, go get me one. I'm like,
No. I'm like, no.
like that was because me. I mean, I know Strobes had to be like, oh, but I knew if you were going to get her an AB jersey, that it was a good chance I can get it. And also, Alex Brown is cool as shit.
He is cool. I met him before. He is cool.
Alex Brown is cool as shit.
The jersey's framed and hanging up in the office right
so
now.
shout out to Eric Strobel. Well, it was one part of the Under Center podcast when, unfortunately, Cam and JJ were let go. I was fortunate enough to finally meet Cam. I did know JJ. I always loved JJ. Happy JJ found his way with the
Stankovic?
Colts. Yep, JJ's the dude. But yeah, shout out to everybody.
Down in India.
He's Larry Meyer for the Colts.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he's
Oh.
he's the head writer for Colts.
Oh, good. Okay.
That's him. But again, shout out to Michael Allardyce. Shout out to John Shipman and Kevin Anderson, and everybody at NBC who affords me the opportunities. Shout out to all the producers. Definitely my man Anthony Durunda, but all the producers down there who always look out. All the staff, Glenn Morgan.
Is my man Lou still down there? Lou, the floor director, TV floor. Lou.
Yeah, I think he's still there.
Yeah, he's my old teacher in my first school. Yeah.
Shout out to everybody who's the staff behind the cameras that keeps it running. You are much appreciated, even if I don't mention you now. And I mean, for the time being, that's where you're gonna find me at.
That's what's up.
I'm lucky enough to I'm there. We do good things over there. We're gonna have a great bear season, a better bear season, I mean to say, this year, and it'll be entertaining. So again, I'm not there without these men and more people and women along too. So always feel blessed. Always know that I'm blessed, but always know that you're all blessed. And anybody out there that's watching this, that you needed something like this.
Yeah.
We're happy if we gave you a little bit of light and a little bit of wind underneath your wings to push you out there, because you're not too old.
Nope.
But you have to go after it, and you have to keep going after it. You're gonna fall. You got to dust yourself off and get back up and go attack. It sounds a lot easier to come out of my mouth than how hard you have to do it, but you have it in you to do it. But go after something. And
You're not too old. You're not too black. You're not too poor.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
too
Not too anything.
any of
disconnected.
those negatives.
Yes.
So you're not someone who you don't speak the English well enough. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't just have to be us. You're not someone who you don't have connections. We didn't have connections.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying?
We made our connections.
Yeah, and or you had a friend that made connections.
Yeah.
And friends.
Yep.
So you can find a community of like-minded individuals who generally have your best for you in their hearts.
Yes.
You know, and if not, it starts here with us. You know, leave comments or whatever, and definitely they'll get back because I don't read comments.
Saul will get back. I may get back.
But but again, congratulations to Cal Means.
Yep.
on his
Congrats,
new
Cuzzo.
job.
Yeah.
Congrats,
Thank you,
Cuzzo.
gentlemen. Thank you.
To Tony and Stephanie on the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Saul for graduating.
Thank you.
Congratulations to
Yes.
Jason for going into writing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations to Josh with everything he's doing with the Bulls and the Bigs.
Mhm.
Congratulations to our brother D for being happy and knowing to when to walk away, because a lot of people are fearful or will think about, well, you know, what is it that what's the name said, Money Making Mitch says about man, I can't lead the game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You know, man,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
don't remember me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Remember me. A lot
Yeah.
of people, you know, because that's one thing I'll say. I think sometimes I'm like, yeah, you know, I could walk away from this, and I think about it sometimes, like, yeah, I could walk away and I could feel like, yeah, that's straight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Huh?
Make them miss you, right?
No, they owe me.
Yeah. You gotta miss me.
They owe me way too much. But yeah, thanks for everyone who has played a part in any and everything that we've done. If we did not mention you, please don't. We feel no slight, because we truly do appreciate, from WGN, from the Red Eye, from 670 to Score, from everyone. who's
ESPN
been-
1000.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was going to mention that. I apologize. ESPN 1000. Just anyone and everyone who's given us a chance, we thank you, and we appreciate you giving us that opportunity and opening those. Also, shout out, just real quick, shout out to Lawrence Holmes, Jonathan Hood, and Jason Goff. Me being, you can say Dan Jiggers too, but being a brother, the doors that they pushed open, pulled, like, made it so much easier for us to walk through.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So
The
shout
big bros.
Yeah,
for
shout
sure.
out to them. And also the kindness. And this isn't, okay, I know that came off as just for the blacks, but the kindness from everyone throughout the industry.
Cheryl
of
Ray.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Deion
Cheryl
Miller.
Ray
Cheryl
Stout.
Ray.
Cheryl Ray is a home.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Cheryl Ray is the GOAT. Deion Miller.
Deion Miller.
Yes.
I mean, it can go on.
People didn't really have like any business like they
Rocking
could
with
have
us.
did something better on with their Saturday.
Yep.
Yes.
Than hang out with
Oh,
us.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
at
yeah.
10 a.m. in the morning on their
That's-
off days.
Like,
Layla Rahimi
Layla
too. I mean,
Rahimi.
yeah.
we talked about the bigs. Shout out to everyone. I mean, there's so many guests who came on and didn't have to come on. And that's the thing. Like, it's so many people in this industry. I'll tell you this: I haven't met too many penises in this industry. I've met more like-minded people that they want to see
I
you
agree.
succeed too.
I totally agree.
You would think from the outside in, particularly in a city like Chicago, where, for instance, like back in the days with our hip hop scene, it was a crabs in the barrel mentality where it wasn't a cohesive kind of push. That's not how the sports or
No.
the media thing, from what I've been a part of, has been.
That was one of
here.
the best things that I think we both noticed. Is like it wasn't that.
Yeah, but-
Everybody was pushing each other
Yeah,
forward.
that was-
Everybody.
That's when there are people. Most people want to help you. Just go about it the right way.
Mhm.
Don't overexhaust too.
Mhm.
You know, that's another thing. You know, like if someone come on the show, that don't mean you got to try to make them come on like every month or every other week.
Mhm.
Like, you know, get your reps. Like that's the thing too. I know a lot of time you want to be guest focused, and that's not bad. Do that, but get your reps in what you're trying to do.
Yep.
And get better at what you're doing, not just depending on asking someone a question. Make it that they're there because they want to hear what you have to say about what you're talking about. They want-
Sometimes you might be talking to yourself.
right?
That's all right.
But that,
That's all right.
In that wind tunnel.
because
Yeah,
this
that's
is the
all
thing.
right.
It wasn't. My favorite sports show in Chicago, probably growing up, was the Monsters of the Midday. But all time is probably, of course, Borders and Bernstein. And it wasn't the breaking news that I cared about. And you're talking about two journalists, and Terry Borders and Dan Bernstein. It wasn't breaking news I cared. It was their opinion on what it was. So the point that I'm trying to say is, it's more important that I care about what you have to say than what somebody else has to say to a degree. Make it to where I want to know your opinion. Is the thing that I think that a lot of people need to, because a lot of focus now that I see, and I'm not knocking it because some people are doing big things, but people aren't getting reps and refining and trying to just, I want to hear what you got to say about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's it. That's all I have to say. Appreciate you giving me this opportunity. Appreciate all the love that you guys have spread. Be safe.
Yes,
safe.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, be safe down there.
Yeah, be safe. Be, you know that you like I said, you have value in your voice.
Yeah.
And, you know, just keep trying. If you don't think you're at where you're at, right, where you want to be, just keep trying. Just keep, you know, there's value in what you do. If you have that passion for it, keep going at it, because we can all attest to that. If we, you know, not giving up, not, you know, keep believing in ourselves, keep, you know, relying on the people who love you and support you, and, you know, it can get you a long way. It can get you somewhere where you want to be eventually. And you know, Ken said, we always out here to reach. You're gonna keep hearing from us. You're gonna keep seeing us in some manner. You know, we're gonna keep building. And you know, this is the team, man. This is the crew. We gonna keep it going another 10 years, and hopefully more than that going forward.
Yeah.
And
Well, but you didn't get to the check part.
the check.
It seemed like we was on Tucky, like you was about to say the money was coming.
Oh yeah, the bread is post dated.
Okay.
But
Grace's first movie will be We Are Rico Radio WARR production.
It's coming. We probably, you know, we probably gonna be like, you know, with the first generation of Corleones.
Hey.
But then the Michael
Afterwards, yeah.
Michael comes along and then really gets the family on. That's probably gonna be Grace. Probably be your kid. Probably be
Ken.
Yeah. So you know, we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
But we still got more to say though.
Right.
We
Yeah,
still
we do.
got more to say.
One last thing for me, please, and I know it's become vogue today. Don't chase clout. That's it for me.
Yeah. Put in the work, man.
Be secure in who you are.
Yeah,
man.
put in the work.
It's fleeting. Put more into yourself. Don't chase clout, man. Like the things that people do. Like there's so many ways everything. Like, man, I can make money do this. I'll be like, that's just might would hurt my soul.
Yeah,
Like,
and think about your reputation, your stand. Like you don't want to play yourself just off of, like say, a little cloud, a little.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just stay true to yourself and you know, be real out here. Don't be no character. You know, doing whatever for a little fame, man, because that ain't worth it.
I would say you've done that. I thought that's what you
No,
thought.
I've thought about doing it.
Like when did you do it? Let me know. I don't remember. I was like, damn, yeah. You had the OnlyFans.
Like I'm saying, sometimes I looked at our numbers at times and I was like, man, I may have to degrade myself.
Show a little shoulders.
It's not it.
Put that bare ankle out there.
It's not worth it though, and I'm glad I didn't go that route. But you know, I'm more glad that, you know, I got you guys, and that you know, anybody who supported us. Like I said, you know, we can't name everybody supported us, who showed us love, who's shared any of our content, who's recommended us to anybody. We know we appreciate you. Anybody who's listened to all this or watched this video, please leave your name under the YouTube. Well, this will be on YouTube, so leave your name under that, or leave it on, you know, whatever comment section we got. If you listen to this whole thing, I may give you a check. But
Get that Demonze separate.
yeah, but you know, thank you to everyone who showed us love over the years by like I say, by collaborating with us, by doing whatever, and giving us good energy. And we appreciate you, and wish the best for you and in the years going forward. And yeah, we just gonna wrap it up here. I guess that's it. We got you looking at your watch already. We got other stuff we're gonna do. This is a wonderful Saturday.
Yes.
Here in Chicago, we're gonna take advantage of that. But this was for the record. This was for I'm trying to think of that word. Posterity.
That's how I was going
Not
to say
prosperity.
earlier.
This is for prosperity.
I was like, it's posterity, right? I was like, was I about to say prosperity?
It's
I had to check myself.
It's for prosperity and posterity.
There you go.
But yeah, this is the 10th anniversary of WARR Media.
10 years.
Thank you.
Wait, time out. I got one.
What?
I was thinking, it's funny. I was in somebody's parking lot this week, and it's one of those ideas of like dumb ideas that people had in the crew. And I remember we were talking about doing an award show, and I remember thinking like, who the fuck are we?
Who said
Did
that?
we do
I
it?
didn't say that.
Did we do it?
This was
Like in D and Davis Awards?
No, it was our Rigger Radio. It's like, yeah, we can give out, we do this, you know, we can bring so and so and give them awards. I'm thinking like, why would they show up?
Hey man, we had big dreams and big ideas.
I'm saying this is like year 2, right? We're talking about we're gonna have an award show.
Was it Sean?
It definitely was.
That'd be Sean.
That sound like
That'd be Sean.
shout out to Sean.
I love Sean.
Love you, Sean.
On that note.
On that note, we'll holler at y'all in year 20. Maybe we'll be giving out awards then.
No, 5 more years.
5 more years? But we'll do
15, yeah,
15. 15. We'll do 15. Right. We probably won't be giving out awards then, but maybe 20 we'll be giving out awards.
Maybe we will receive some.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll work on that first, getting the awards, and then maybe
before we start passing them out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is worth something.
But yeah, that's it though. Much love, much appreciation.
Yeah.
Peace
Hey,
out.
keep your hands to yourself.
Yes, sir.